Good afternoon, everybody. Ha ha! Welcome into the Winkler verse. I am Bart Winkler, and this is important. I'm doing this podcast in addition to my Infinity Sports Network show, but I say I do this podcast 2 to 3 times a week. So if I'm going to do them, if I'm going to say that, there's got to be weeks where I do them 3 times a week, and what a week to do one as the Brewers beat the Cubs 3 out of 4 games in this series. This very interesting, emotional, wild, erratic series where the Brewers get the better of not just the Cubs, but the Cubs fans and Craig Counsell, which is the most important thing, I think, of all of this. And there's going to be Cubs fans that find this, or maybe Cubs fans that seek it out. Let me once again tell you that this is not about you. You know, anything you want to talk about Counsell, like when I make fun of the things he did that didn't work out this week, that you can be like, oh no, don't talk about our manager that way. That I understand. But those of you that want to like look at what the Brewers are doing and Brewers fans and that they're booing, and you're like, well, why would you boo? Yeah, they had great success there. Like, that doesn't concern you. We don't tell you how to feel about Steve Bartman. We don't tell you how to feel about anybody else. We don't tell you how to feel about that. It doesn't matter. The desperation for Cubs fans to want to feel a part of this is ridiculous. This is not about Craig Counsell, the man, necessarily leaving. This is about Craig Counsell leaving in the way that he did. It's one thing to be a guy and to like have good memories and then say you want to move on. Maybe somewhere can pay you more money. It's one thing for that. That's totally understandable. All you guys that are like, "Oh, you would have done it too." Like, I get why you're saying that. That's totally understandable. But you don't know the 8 years of saying that he was born a Brewer. You don't know the connection that he had to the fan base. You don't know that he grew up as part of lives for a lot longer than you are giving him credit for. He was a part of this for a long time. So to sit there and try to criticize, try to say anything different is pretty remarkable. I think he's staying with my a little bit. Um, I will get fixed. A lot of things that I didn't fix. It just seems like maybe Craig doesn't want the words said. Big Cub is under big Wi-Fi and try and break us down. You have to see. Oh, it comes on Twitter over to YouTube usually. So I come to the game, talk about the get into D-Show channel is about joints when you get here. The Wi-Fi is terrible. I know that. You look and sound like you're doing a FaceTime in the 90s. I know that. The only other option is I go upstairs, and now I am so pissed off. I pay $5,000 fucking dollars for this bullshit internet, and I can't even get it to work. And I'm just gonna sit here and make it work. I have the best modems. I have the best people, and this is the shit I have to deal with. This is great. It's the Brewers season, and this is the things to fucking get. This is ridiculous. Anyway, Sean, got me.
I don't think we have a good connection.
Upstairs, bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Goddamn coach. Absolute garbage. absolute shit. Damn it. I'm right by the router. I am right by the router. Hey. Let's go. All right. Let's talk. Jesus Christ. Let's talk Cubs and Brewers. Yeah. There we go. There we go. You know what? I know I got something here. Hey. Bernie! Bernie! The Sean O'Connell. All right. I'm starting over for the podcast. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Winklerverse. Sorry I had to sit through all that bullshit. Brewers win. 3 of 4. Counsell sucks. The Sean O'Connell. What's up?
All those things are correct. Absolutely. I'm loving it.
Please check out the Dan Shaney YouTube if you want to see how bad my Wi-Fi is. I got to open a window. I'm fucking roasting.
And also the Brewers, would you call that technically a Dan Shaney insurance run because Yelich was
over and over
on base?
and over. I saw you tweeting. It was several Dan Shaney insurance runs.
All right, excellent. Just wanted to make sure. I just have a few minutes, and I would think, a 3-1 series win is excellent. Puts us ahead for the season series so far. And you were mentioning, he knew what he was doing, Craig Counsell, with his departure. And one of the many accolades that Craig Bot 3000 would get was his analytical thinking, all this and that, the baseball genius. He had to have put in a lot of thought, and emotion played no part. We were all duped to think that he even had emotions. And shame on this guy for believing that he did have emotions when
He got
I should have
booed
known.
in front of his home crowd, and he thought it was funny. Like, that's a guy who is either like, those are the traits of a guy who is like a serial killer, honestly.
Funny you should say that, Bart Winkler, because while I was watching his interviews and whatnot, there is a book called The Psychopath Test, written by a gentleman named, I believe, John Ronson. And I would have to recheck out that book. And I don't think Craig would have any problem passing the psychopath test, meaning he would be a psychopath because he hits a lot of markers, in my opinion. Actually, I believe it's the sociopath test anyway. But he knew what he was doing, and I'm with you. We are right to boo him. And again, pour out a little liquor. Rick from Oshkosh was right. Craig Counsell may be bad at his job, Bart Winkler.
All those calls from Rick and Oshkosh, he would yell at me, and I would say, Craig or Rick, he's one of the best managers we've ever had, and
And
it may be true. I mean, but still.
Right. And also to the Mrs. O'Connell, after his first full season, she said, that ain't the guy. And I would say, I would play the Bart Winkler role on that. And I would say, baby, I know you got a great set of legs and a fantastic can, but you're way off on this one. Little did I know I was the one who was way off, Bart Winkler. Way off. Love you, pal. I got to get to it.
The Sean O'Connell joining us here on Into the Winklerverse, and he's been doing a great job tweeting through the Dan Shaney insurance runs in each and every game, and there were several in this one. Again, I'm Bart Winkler. Welcome into the Winklerverse. Kind of a spotty start on our YouTube with my bullshit internet, which has been an ongoing problem. You would think at some point this man would fix his internet. I have tried, and I have gotten like AT&T's basically told me to like deal with it. So I don't know. I got a lot of people that have DM'd me about suggestions to fix it. I will finally go through those. If someone could just come over here and fix it, maybe I'll do that. Maybe that would be better. I would like that. I also think that, again, Cubs fans that find this, whether it's the audio or the video. This isn't about you. This isn't about you. This is about our emotions, not just with the guy that left us. This is about our emotions with the guy that left us the way that he left us. Craig Counsell, the person, is not so much under fire here. It's Craig Counsell, the actions. The years and years of gaslighting us into thinking he was one of us. Us Brewer fans are we are not the biggest flock in the jungle, okay? We are not the greatest. We're almost an endangered species when compared to some of these other fan bases. The St. Louis Cardinals, however, quickly went from one of the most prolific to now nearly extinct when you look at some of their capacity crowds. It's about the actions. It's about telling someone that you love them and that you are them for 40 years and then just being like, nah, I'm going to go to Chicago. If you would have went to Cleveland, if you would have went to New York, if you would have went to anywhere else, fine. Good job. We'll miss you. You wouldn't have gotten booed. And maybe the boos get shorter over time, but there'll always be boos. Cubs fans are booing Ryan Braun for 10 years after he left the first season. Why were Cubs fans ever booing Braun? You had a season where you didn't have to play him. Oh, because he took an MVP from, what the hell was his name? Matt Kemp. That was a Dodger. What the hell were Cubs fans booing about? Cubs fans in 2019 are booing Ryan Braun. Why? Because he's a Brewers guy. They like him, so we boo him. God, you get like the way that Cubs fans get so worked up about Brewers fans booing Counsell is way more pathetic than Brewers fans booing Counsell.
Like Sean O'Connell mentioned, I have my Dan Cheney Insurance koozie here.
There better be a soda in that koozie.
That's my mom
Drinking champions. What's up, Tom? You're kind of soft, but audio-wise, but what's up?
Tuesday night, I was freaking out while the Cubs were no-hitting on.
Yeah, I was really emotionally fucked up during that, yeah.
But even if we lose, we can't get no hits.
I agree.
So at least that didn't happen. I can't really hear you. I don't know if it's my connection in the car, maybe, but I'll go back to YouTube.
All right, well, good to see you anyway.
Go for it.
Although it's the summer, so now he's painter Tom. Remember, if you need a guy to paint your house, Tom will do that. Tom's painting all over the Milwaukee area, so we can hook him up however you want to. Get in touch with me and we'll hook you up. Just like we've been hooking you up with Happy Place Hemp. Promo code is BART. I could run and get a seltzer right now out of the fridge and pound it and relax myself over the internet struggles I was having earlier. CBD, CBN, THC, all that good stuff available in the shop of happyplacehemp.com. Again, happyplacehemp.com. Promo code is BART, 25% off each and every order. 25% off each and every order. AJ says, Sosa fans booing Braun always made me laugh. Fun reminder that they ostracized a fan for catching a foul ball once. That's right, they did. Any other person in that position would have done the same. They all know it. FCC. Yeah, the FCC won't let me be. I know that that's not what you're saying it stands for. It stands for more like what Chad is putting there in the comments. A recap of the series, if you will. The Milwaukee Brewers on Monday get the 5-1 win. That was a really exciting game. And also, I will give flowers to Willy Adames, who has a 9-game hitting streak now, and everything that I've ever said he can't do, he has done. I have no leg to stand on anymore with Willy Adames. I just didn't think that he was big in the clutch. I thought a lot of solo shots came when the game was well in question or not in question anymore. I know that he's good runners in scoring position. I see all the stats, But anytime that he was up when there was a tough situation, like he didn't deliver. He has delivered. Oh my God, he couldn't have delivered more. So Willy Adames, who again, a free agent at the end of the year, and I wonder how that will go. The Brewers are probably going to, you want to, if this guy's playing like this, you're going to want to keep him. What kind of salary is he going to require? Are they going to be forced to Josh Hader this guy, even though they're in first place, because they got to think about the future? Which, if you've not seen some of my recent podcasts, I have flip-flopped on that and now agree it was a good trade, even if it sacrificed us a season, which we weren't going to win the World Series anyway because Craig Counsell was our manager. But the Memorial Day was great. And I do want to mention this tweet here from my guy Danny Parkins of 670 The Score, who I will be going on their show later today about 5 o'clock. I will be on with Parkins and Spiegel. And I had that here. But the tweet was basically describing that Brewers fans, these joyous days that we're experiencing, or that joyous moment we're experiencing, it's going to go away. And we're not going to celebrate it as much. He actually tweeted this on Tuesday, and I bring it up not just because I'm going to be on with them later, so I feel like it's fair, but also a lot of you guys were paying attention to it. The tweet there, the Cubs will win more games than the Brewers this year, and for the duration of Counsell's time as manager, bookmark, save, whatever you want to do. That's one game. They won one game of the series, so if you're going to fire off that tweet, that's the time to do it. But also, I don't understand where all the frustration is coming from. Like, we are booing him. Let us have that thing. We're not trying to make this anything more than that. And Cubs fans got to dive in. It's like, we're in our house yelling about something, and you're the neighbor, and you're trying to come and tell us to calm down. But this isn't a situation where you need to do that. We're basically just yelling at thin air. Just let us yell. Let us be mad. Let us be mad. Can we get over Craig Counsell now? That's from my guy Miller Park Minute. I think this was a very cathartic series, and there might be more series. They got a couple more series throughout the year, and we'll see, what kind of playoff race they come in. In terms of getting over Craig Counsell, I actually am more mad at Craig Counsell after this series than I was prior to the series starting. I'm more upset. I don't like how he acted. It was about Craig Counsell, the action, but now it's more about Craig Counsell just trying to deflect that action. I don't like him. I don't like the way that he's approached this. I don't like how he ran away, but is also trying to stay here, but then is upset when people here want to ask him about leaving there. Shocked when Milwaukee media shows up when they do. If you're going to be here and be there, you got to not be held accountable. We always say that people need to be held accountable when we never really know what that means. Okay, hold him accountable. What do you want us to do? Throw bread at his wife in the Sendix? No. You just want him to acknowledge, not to sound so again, madman about it, but acknowledge that the reaction to you is because of something you did. It's not just something we're doing as a goof or a lark. You did a bullshit thing. You did a bullshit thing. You left us. You've been wanting to leave for 2 years, but still collecting paychecks. You basically quiet quitted on our ass, which cost us who knows what in the last 2 years. That's another part of this. Every time he talks, it goes further and further back in the timeline when he wanted to leave. Well, then why don't you leave? And then you take your buddy Rossi's job. Come on. Carlos, good to see you. Zach, Cubs fans like to pretend they're our big brother when in fact they exhibit far more little brother behavior than we do. So as a big brother, I like it. It's big brother behavior. But when the little brother gets you, then the big brother acts like the little brother. And that's why we have to resort to tweeting about, we'll win more games than you. It's like, oh, you beat me in this game of pickup basketball in the backyard, but I'm still going pro and you're still going to be shit. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe. What was that guy do with anything? We're just trying to hang out here. Got a little Luigi. He was in that Mario movie for like 8 minutes, and he's in a goddamn dungeon with that suicidal star. I wanted more Luigi. Even though Charlie Day being Luigi was very distracting. Chris Pratt was Mario, and I could like take myself there that it was Mario. But I just saw him running around with Charlie Day. Like, at least disguise the voice a little bit. But then there's Seth Rogen, who is Donkey Kong, who explicitly said, I will be Donkey Kong, but I'm doing my voice. I'm not doing a different voice. Oh, you can have Counsell back? Yeah, no, we don't want him. We got Pat Murphy, who in today's game looked like he gave Counsell a little bit of a, here you go, we'll give you a reliever that you can hit, say, a Suzuki a home run off of. Although, I mean, that was the move. He was the guy that's been the best. All right, so I'll go through the games again. But Monday, great game. Obviously, one of the best. And sorry that we feel that way. Tuesday, not so great. Thought there might be a no-hitter there. This was a good matchup on paper. Freddie Peralta struck out 11. Gave up a run. And then Ben Brown, who Cubs fans were like, that was the first mad they got at Counsell this year, was when they thought they were ruining his confidence with the situation they put him in. But Ben Brown's a prospect they really like. You saw why on Tuesday. 7 innings of no-hit ball, 10 strikeouts, 93 pitches. So he gets pulled, and then obviously the Brewers are going to get a hit off of him because when you pull a pitcher that's throwing a no-hitter, which Craig has done several times, this is what's going to happen. The Cubs eventually won that game. It went 2 extra innings. It shouldn't have, but it did because of, again, Willy Adames. But as that game was happening, I believe that was Tuesday night, so I was watching the Timberwolves and Mavs as well at the station. And I was really having a hard time concentrating. Like, I'm having a harder time when there's a sport thing going on that's affecting me. I'm having a harder time not letting it affect my life. And I could just maybe, DVR it and watch it later and not worry about it and watch it at a time that's beneficial to me. But I think with the job, I can't do that. Yeah, birds are chirping, even though it's not 3 a.m. I had to open my window because I'm hot as shit, which I'm only by a window because I had to come upstairs because my internet is BS. And thankfully, my router is right here. So here's a game I played once. Sidebar, Rogan's Ninja Turtles movie was decent. I'll have to check it out. My kid's into the Ninja Turtles now. The Teenage Ninja Turtles is what he calls them. So that's cute. So it's just very upsetting. It was very upsetting that they were in the middle of throwing a no-hitter and we were having a time of dealing with this. Why is Drew Olson sticking up for Craig Counsell so much? Like, he's not here anymore. Why are you trying to gain favor with this guy? Stop being smartest man in the room. Listen to your listeners for once in your godforsaken career. Honestly, why is it so hard? Be a fan of your team. Wednesday, the Brewers win 10-6. Oh, I forgot. Writers are never fans. They're only fans of the story, which this is a good story, so why are you shitting on it? Wednesday was great because Imanaga, who had 11 days rest, he didn't pitch in the weekend series that got rained out, and so there was a long layoff. He's been their best pitcher. Even with the blow-up, his ERA is up to 1.86. He had a 0.86 the other day coming into the game. 4 1/3, 8 hits, 7 earned. Brewers got to him early. Now Cubs, stormed back and got some runs. But the Brewers had plenty of offense. And they did a good job on the Valley broadcast today with BA and Rock talking about like how much different this team is offensively. They've got, 70 home runs, 60-plus steals. Only team to do that in the majors. Their offensive ranks are top 5 in a bunch of different categories. This is a completely different team than it was a year ago. God, I wonder why. Again, I don't want Counsell back. I don't want him if he would say right now I made a mistake, let me come back. No, I don't want him. You saw all the things that he did, taking out relievers, putting in the wrong guys. Oh, sure, Seiya Suzuki had a nice pinch hit. It's easier to pinch hit when you have Seiya Suzuki on the bench than it is when you have Jesse Winker. Okay. Brewers won today, 6-4. Decent outing for Colin Day. Because he's good in the day, that's what I call Colin Ray. Back and forth. Brewers will get a run. Cubs will get a run back. But a Gary Sanchez 8-inning smash was able to seal this deal for the Brewers. So it was a great week. It was a fantastic week. It was a really fun week. That's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit with you guys and just reiterate and kind of collect our feelings about Counsell. It's still bullshit what he did. I'm glad he did it because I think the Brewers are better off, and at least there's a nice change. I'm glad he did it because it has reinvigorated a rivalry. I'm glad he did it because all the shit that bothered us can now bother them. It's still bullshit he did it. It's a bullshit move. It's a bullshit move. That's why I always get mad at Giannis. Remember, I'd always get mad at Giannis when he's like, "Oh, I love Milwaukee. I'm loyal forever." The more you say that, the more like backlash you're going to have against you if you ever leave. So why are you doing all this? Why are you saying all this? But you never thought that with Counsell. With Counsell admitting that he's been mentally gone, does that mean it's official that he pinch hit Winker as a troll move? I would not put it past Counsell to have made moves over the last couple of years that were in protest. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, do I have any evidence? No. Am I probably fired up? Sure. But what do you think? Chick's crying outside. Is she okay? Jesus. You guys hear that? All right. Brewers play the White Sox this weekend. Excited for that. And this series, because I've not as watched as much Brewers as everybody else here, probably. I understand that. At night, I got to be locked into whether it's a hockey game or a basketball game. And I'll follow the Brewers on the ticker, but I don't have it on TV necessarily. For me, this week changed that. For me, this week got me back in. And baseball's been hard for me to get into because regular season seems so meaningless once you get into the playoffs and get bounced. But I'm as back in as I could be. And I think that a lot of Brewers fans are back in too. There was a comment that I wanted to read before about Brewers fans. I don't have it here, but I saw somebody say they were proud of Brewers fans this week. Yeah. Wicks. Proud of Brewers fans this series. Way to show up and give Craig hell. And I think it reinvigorated the franchise. Look, he may not be born a Brewer or still a Brewer, but we're born Brewers. And we're going to die Brewers. That's why this thing was so hard for us. It's been a lot of great content that John Boy has stolen for aggregation. That's pretty sweet. But it's been a lot of great content this week. And I'm very excited that the Brewers took 3 of 4. And I'm really excited and jacked about today. I'm jacked that the crowd was good. I think the momentum is going to carry over for a little bit. Now, the White Sox are coming in here. They are beyond bad. So, at minimum, win 3 of 3. But other than that, they got some injuries to battle through. Maybe they mix things up at the trade deadline. We always love to talk about the trade deadline. 2 months before the trade deadline. I'm not there yet. If we had Adam McKelvey on this week and it was the old Chuck and Winkler show, he would get a question about the trade deadline. I think we would always usually start that May 1st. So, Adam, trade deadline's coming up in 3 fucking months. Your thoughts? Bart Winkler Show Infinity Sports Network, 9P to 1A Central. This is Into the Winklerverse. Got a lot more on this and this week with Paul and Grant. If you can catch that, we did yesterday. Also recap game 1 earlier this week. Got some Packer stuff that we did with Horvat a little bit ago. If you want to dig around the YouTube or the Spotify or the app or what have you. Thank you if you stuck with me through the technical glitches and the situations that I had there. And can't wait to get back to another game here pretty soon. I'm Bart Winkler. Thanks for stopping into the Winklerverse. Fuck Craig Counsell and fuck the Cubs.